Welcome to Cheat Sheet Tales, where secrets slip, lies unravel, and the truth always has a twist. Real stories, raw confessions, shocking betrayals. Drop a comment if you've ever caught a red flag too late. Now, let's get into today's tale. Printed her termination letter myself on her personal printer. The one she bought with her own money, because she said the office one was too slow. I'm shaking, actually shaking. My hands won't stop. And I keep thinking about those baby pictures she sent me 3 weeks ago. Little Autonomous is finally sleeping. Through the night, can't wait to catch up when I'm back. You're going to love being VP. You've earned it. That heart emoji. That stupid pink heart emoji. Okay, I need to tell this right, because if I don't get it out now, I'm going to implode or do something stupid. More stupid than what I already did. I mean, my name is Michelle. I'm 34. Years old, and until about 6 hours ago, I thought I was a good person. Like, genuinely believed I was someone who took the high road, someone who helped other women succeed, someone who... God, I was such an idiot. Before I go on, please, like this video and subscribe, because I need to know I'm not alone here. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Tell me if you've ever trusted someone who burned you this badly, because right now I feel like I'm drowning. And I need to know there are other people out there who get it. Months. 8 months I ran Vivian's entire department, $4 million. In quarterly revenue, 63 employees, 3 major product launches, while she was on bed rest with complications. I was working 14-hour days, skipping my brother's wedding rehearsal dinner, missing my own doctor's appointments, because the team needs stability right now. Rella, you understand? And I did understand, of course I did. Because Vivian was my mentor. She brought me up from coordinator to senior manager. She CC'd me on the important emails. She introduced me to the SVP at the holiday party. This is Maya, she'd say with her hand on my shoulder, like I was her protege, her chosen one. She's going to run this place someday. The thing is, and this is so stupid, but I loved her. Not in a weird way, but like she was everything I wanted to be. Pakistani American like me, came up through finance, had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the room who mattered. She wore these gorgeous hijabs that matched her power suits perfectly. She had this laugh that made everyone else laugh too. When she told me she was pregnant, we were in the parking garage after a brutal quarterly review. She was crying. Actually crying because the medication she needed for the pregnancy was making her so sick she could barely stand up in meetings, and she was terrified they'd use it against her. They already think women can't hack it at this level, she said, mascara running down her face. If I show weakness now? So I said I'd help. Obviously, what else was I going to say? This was Vivian. This was my mentor, my friend. My God, I hate that I'm crying right now. I'm so angry at myself for crying, but I need you to understand. It wasn't supposed to be like this. It started small. Can you just run the Monday morning meeting for me? I have prenatal appointments. Then it was, would you mind taking point on the Haversham account just until the morning sickness passes? By month 3, I was essentially doing 2 jobs, mine and hers. But she kept saying the words I needed to hear. I've already talked to Marcus about promoting you to director. Once I'm back, we'll make it official. You'll be my right hand, and when I move up to VP next year, you'll slide right into my role. Marcus, that's our SVP, looks like every generic white guy in finance. You know the type. Boat shoes in the office, says things like, let's take this, offline and circle back. But he had the power to make careers, and Vivian had his ear. Or so I thought. The pregnancy got complicated fast. Gestational diabetes, then preeclampsia. By month 5, she was on full bed rest, and that's when she made it official. Sent an email to the entire department. While I'm on medical leave, Relly Morrison will be serving as acting director. Please give her your full support. Acting director. Those 2 words changed everything. Suddenly, I had Vivian's office key, her parking spot, her signature authority on contracts up to $500,000. I was invited to the executive planning meetings. I was making decisions that affected real people's lives, real money, real outcomes, and I was good at it. No, I was great at it. That's not ego talking. That's just facts. The Haversham account that was bleeding money, I restructured it, brought it back into the black within 6 weeks. The toxic culture in our West Coast division, I flew out there, spent 3 days doing One-on-ones, fired 2 managers who were harassing junior staff, and morale scores jumped 40% by the next survey. I documented everything Vivian taught me, that cover your ass, Rella, always have receipts. So I did. Every win, every metric, every email from Marcus saying, exceptional work on the Q3 forecast, Rella. Vivian chose well. She'd text me from bed sometimes, pictures of her swollen feet, complaints about Netflix recommendations, and always, I'm so proud of you. Can't wait to make your promotion official. We're going to do such amazing things. Together. The baby came early, little autonomous, and no, that's not the real name, but I can't say the real name because it makes me think of those photos she sent. This perfect tiny human with Vivian's nose and these impossibly small fingers. She named her after her grandmother. She asked if I wanted to be the work auntie. Of course, I texted back. Can't wait to spoil her rotten. Take all the time you need, everything's under control here. And it was. It really was. I had just closed our biggest deal of the year, $1.8 million contract that I'd been nurturing since Vivian first went on bed rest. The client specifically said they signed because of the stability I'd brought to the team. Marcus called me into his office, shook my hand. Let's talk. About your future when Vivian returns, he said. Big things ahead for you, Rel. Big things. That was Tuesday. Wednesday, I was in early reviewing resumes. We had an opening on the team, senior analyst position, good stepping stone role. I wanted to find someone hungry, someone who reminded me of myself 5 years ago. The printer in Vivian's office was jammed again, that stupid personal printer she'd insisted on buying. The office printers are so slow and they're always breaking, she'd complained. I need something reliable. I opened the paper tray to clear the jam, and there it was, an email she'd sent to print before leaving for maternity leave, still sitting there waiting, dated 3 days before the baby came. Marcus, as discussed, I have serious concerns about Michelle Morrison's readiness for promotion. While she's been adequate in a support role during my absence, I've observed several troubling patterns. 1, lack of strategic thinking. 2, difficulty managing upward. 3, tendency to overstep boundaries. 4, creating dependencies rather than empowering team autonomy. I strongly recommend we look externally for the director position. I've attached 3 candidates who would be excellent fits. As we discussed, it's crucial we move quickly on this, while I'm on leave to avoid any perception of discrimination. Best to position this as bringing in fresh perspectives rather than a reflection on Maya's performance. She's a solid individual contributor, but not management material. Let's sync on Monday to finalize. Vivian. I read it 3 times before my brain actually processed the words. Then I sank into her chair, her ergonomic, specially ordered chair that she'd let me use because my back was killing me from all the late nights. Adequate in a support role, not management material. Solid individual contributor. But it was the date that killed me, 3 days before she delivered, which meant that every text, every "I'm so proud of you," every "we're going to do amazing things together," all of it was a lie. She'd been sabotaging me before she even went on leave. While I was killing myself to keep her department running, she was ensuring I'd never get credit for it. I sat there for, I don't know how long. Long enough for the motion sensor lights to turn off. Long enough for my phone to buzz with 17 new Slack messages I couldn't bring myself to read. Long enough to realize that every single thing I'd done for the last 8 months had been for nothing. No. Not for nothing. For her. I kept thinking about that night in the parking garage, how I'd promised to protect her, to make sure nobody used her pregnancy against her. How I'd believed we were in it together. Women supporting women, breaking glass ceilings, all that crap we tell ourselves. The really sick part, the part that makes me hate myself. I almost didn't do anything. I almost just accepted it. Folded up the email, put it back in the printer, pretended I'd never seen it. Never seen it. Because that's what good girls do, right? We take the hit. We don't make waves. We wait for the next opportunity. But then I thought about Talia. Talia was this brilliant analyst on our team, Wharton MBA, could run circles around anyone with Excel. She'd applied for a senior analyst position 6 months ago. Vivian had told her she wasn't ready. You need more time to develop, she'd said. Maybe next cycle. Talia quit 2 weeks later, took a senior role at a competitor, and Vivian had rolled her eyes in our one-on-one. "Some people just can't handle feedback," she'd said. "They want everything handed to them." I thought about James, who'd transferred out after Vivian told him he was too aggressive in meetings, the same meetings where she praised Eric for his assertive leadership. Thought about every time she'd ask me to stay late because family comes first, while she left at 4:30 for Pilates. I thought about how I'd skipped my brother's rehearsal dinner, how my mom had called me crying because I was the only one missing from the photos. How I'd said, "I'm sorry, Ma, but Vivian needs me. This is my chance." And I realized this wasn't just about me. This was about everyone Vivian had stepped on while wearing her feminist badge like armor. This was about every adequate individual, contributor who'd ever covered for their boss only to get shafted. This was about the game and how some people rig it while pretending they're on your side. My phone buzzed. Another text from Vivian, a video of the baby making these tiny little noises. "Missing my work family. Give everyone my love." That's when I decided, not in some grand, dramatic way. I just knew I was done being adequate, done being supportive, done being the good girl who takes the hit and waits for next time. I forwarded the email to my personal account. Then I did something I'd never done before in my entire career. I went through Vivian's files, all of them. And what I found, what I found, changed everything. The files were meticulous. Vivian kept everything. Every performance review she'd ever written, every confidential conversation with Marcus, every spreadsheet tracking who she considered threats versus allies. She had a whole folder labeled Succession Planning, with subcategories: Develop, Maintain, Manage Out. Guess which category I was in? Manage Out. Right there between Talia Williams and James Chen. But it was the notes that made me want to throw up Rel Morrison. High competence, low political savvy. Useful for 18 to 24 months max before expectations exceed capability. Best utilized for department stabilization during leave. Recommend external hire announcement while RMs serving as acting to minimize backlash. Strong emotional investment in E. Mentor relationship can be leveraged for smooth transition. Leveraged. Like I was a stock option. Like my trust was just another asset to optimize. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets really sick. She wasn't just doing this to me. The Develop folder, all men, every single one, Eric, Marcus, even that little weasel Bradley who couldn't figure out how to export a PDF without help. The Maintain folder was all women over 40 who weren't gunning for promotions, safe women, women who'd already been beaten down enough to stop trying. And the Manage Out list, 32 names in the past 3 years. Mostly women of color. All not quite ready or lacking strategic thinking or great individual contributors, but not leadership material. She had templates. Actual templates for sabotage emails. Name shows promise but needs more development and competency. Recommend exploring external candidates to bring fresh perspective to the role. I found my own file. 2 years of documentation. Every mistake I'd ever made screenshot and cataloged. That time I'd cried in the bathroom after a brutal client call. Emotional regulation issues. The project where I'd pushed back on an impossible deadline. Difficulty managing stakeholder expectations. Even things I thought were wins were twisted. Closing that huge deal last quarter was labeled overselling capabilities, creating future delivery risk. But the real knife, the recommendations she'd been making to Marcus for the past year. Not just blocking my promotion, actively advocating against me, suggesting I be moved to a less visible role, recommending my responsibilities be gradually transitioned to prepare for my inevitable departure. She'd been planning this since the day she made me her protege. I sat there in her office until almost midnight, taking photos of everything. My hands had stopped shaking. I felt this weird calm, like when you've been sick for days and the fever finally breaks. Clear, focused, done. The next morning, I did something I'd never done in 8 months of covering for Vivian. I called in sick. Food poisoning, I told Marcus's assistant. Probably be out for a couple days. Can someone else run the staff meeting? Then I drove to my parents' house, sat at their kitchen table with my laptop, and started writing. Not some crazy manifesto. Just a simple business case. Revenue I'd generated, clients I'd retained, process improvements I'd implemented, 8 months of running a $4 million department with zero prior experience, and exceeding every metric. My dad made me chai. Didn't ask why I was there on a Thursday morning, just set the cup down and squeezed my shoulder. "Whatever it is," he said in Urdu, "remember who you are." I knew who I was. I was the daughter of immigrants who'd sacrificed everything for me to have opportunities they couldn't dream of. I was the sister who'd missed family gatherings for a job that saw me as a diversity checkbox. I was the woman who'd believed mentorship meant something, and I was done being managed out. I went back to the office that night, late, after everyone had gone home, used my keys, Vivian's keys. One last time, I had a plan. But I needed one more thing: access to the HR systems. See, Vivian had made one mistake in all her careful planning. She'd given me her login credentials months ago, when she needed me to approve timesheets from bed rest. "Just don't tell anyone," she'd laughed. "It would have a field day with this security violation." I logged in, pulled up the open position Marcus had mentioned, the director role I'd been acting in for 8 months. The role Vivian promised was mine. The job posting was already live. Had been for 2 weeks. External candidates only. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the hiring committee. Vivian was on it. From maternity leave, she was reviewing resumes, scheduling video interviews with candidates, while sending me baby pictures and heart emojis. She was actively interviewing my replacements. You want to know the really twisted thing? One of the candidates was someone I'd worked with at my last company, Jenny Patel. We'd started on the same day, same role. She'd played the politics, made the right friends, took credit for my ideas. I'd focused on the work, believing merit would win out. She was their top choice. I almost laughed. Of course she was. Vivian would love Jenny. They spoke the same language, the language of leaning in while stepping on anyone who couldn't keep up. That's when I saw it, an email Vivian had sent to the committee that afternoon. From her phone, probably while breastfeeding. Subject line: transition planning, confidential team, given Maya's strong emotional investment in the acting role, recommend we accelerate timeline. Jenny can begin as early as November 15th. I will return on November 20th to provide transition support. The key message is Maya has been a valued contributor during a difficult time, but we need strategic leadership for the next phase. I'll handle the conversation personally to minimize risk. Handle the conversation. Like I was a PR problem. Like I was a bomb that needed diffusing. November 15th was 5 days away. She was planning to come back from maternity leave just to fire me, not even fire me, demote me, publicly, in front of the team I'd been leading for 8 months. The team that had started coming to me instead of Marcus, because I actually listened, because I actually cared. I sat there, in her stupid, ergonomic chair, staring at that email, and I felt something shift inside me. Not rage anymore. Not hurt, something colder, clearer. Vivian had taught me well. Document everything. Cover your ass. Play the long game. So that's what I did. First, I printed everything. Not on her printer, I wasn't that stupid. On the main office printer, after hours, where the security cameras would show me working late, like always, dedicated rel, burning the midnight oil. Then I did something Vivian would never expect from her adequate protege. I scheduled a meeting, not with Marcus, not with HR, with the CEO, Evelyn Chen. She'd built this company from nothing, survived the dot crash, taken it public. She showed up to ribbon cuttings and holiday parties, but mostly stayed in the C-suite, letting SVPs like Marcus run the divisions. I'd met her exactly twice. Once at orientation, once when Vivian had introduced me as one to watch. Her assistant was surprised when I called. Miss Chen's calendar is booked through January. Tell her it's about succession planning in Vivian's department, I said, and that I have documentation she needs to see. I got 15 minutes. Friday at 7 a.m. The night before, I couldn't sleep. Kept running through what I'd say, how I'd say it. This wasn't about emotion anymore. This was about business. About a manager who'd built an entire system for undermining talent while burnishing her own reputation. About the legal liability of documented discrimination. About the $4 million in revenue that might walk if the person actually running the department got publicly humiliated. I wore my best suit, the one I'd bought with my first bonus. The one Vivian had said made me look almost executive material. Almost Evelyn's office was on the top floor, all glass and leather and intimidation. She was already at her desk when I arrived, reading something on her phone. Didn't look up when I walked in. "You have 11 minutes, she said. "Start with why I should care." So I did. No emotion. No story about friendship or betrayal or crying in parking garages. Just facts. In the past 8 months, I've generated $1.8 million in new revenue, while maintaining all existing accounts. I've reduced turnover by 30% and improved client satisfaction. Scores across all metrics. I have documentation for every claim. She looked up then. And the person I've been covering for has been actively working to prevent my promotion while on maternity leave. I have documentation for that too. I slid the folder across her desk. Vivian's emails, the succession planning lists, the 3-year pattern of managing out high performers, the template emails, the HR system showing Vivian conducting interviews, while supposedly recovering from childbirth. Evelyn flipped through it silently. Her face gave away nothing. "This is concerning," she said finally, "but not uncommon. Middle management politics. Why bring it to me?" This was it. The moment I'd practiced in my parents' kitchen, in my car, in the shower that morning. Because in 5 days, Vivian plans to return from leave to personally demote me in favor of an external hire. When that happens, you'll lose half your department. Within 6 months, I've been doing one-on-ones. People are already looking. They're tired of the politics. They're tired of being told they're not ready while watching mediocre people fail upward. They stay now because they trust me, because I've proven I'll fight for them. You remove me, they're gone. That sounds like a threat, Ms. Morrison. No. I said it's a business reality. Your Q4 numbers depend on 3 major renewals. All 3 of those clients have my cell phone number, not Vivian's. They've been working with me exclusively. 2 have already expressed concern about continuity, if there are leadership changes. I pulled out my phone, showed her the texts. "Adam from Havsham. Hope you're staying put, Maya. You're the only reason we renewed. Julia from Keller Industries. Heard rumors about changes. Should we be worried?" Evelyn leaned back. For the first time in 11 minutes, she actually looked at me. Not through me. At me. "What do you want?" "I want the job I've been doing for 8 months. I want the title and the compensation that go with it. I want Vivian moved to a role where she can't systematically destroy careers while claiming to mentor them. And I want it announced Monday, before she has a chance to execute her plan. And if I say no?" I'd thought about this moment 1,000 times. The ultimatum, the power play. Vivian would have had 6 contingencies, 10 ways to leverage the Pamia situation, but I wasn't Vivian. Then I'll clean out my desk Sunday night, email my resignation to the whole company Monday morning with a detailed explanation of why, and start returning recruiter calls. Marcus told me I had big things ahead. Turns out he was right, just not here. Evelyn stood up, walked to her window, hands behind her back. I could see the whole city spread out behind her, all glass and steel and ambition. "Vivian Williams has been with this company for 12 years, she said finally. She's delivered consistent results. She's a visible, diverse leader. She's currently on protected medical leave." My heart sank. Of course they'd protect her. That's how it always, which is why, Evelyn continued, turning around, "we'll need to be very careful about how we handle this. HR will need documentation. Legal will need to review. But Ms. Morrison, yes, I built this company by recognizing talent and removing obstacles. You've just shown me both. Clean out Vivian's office this weekend. Monday morning, I'll announce the department restructuring myself. Vivian will be offered a lateral move to strategic planning. No direct reports. Her choice if she takes it. I couldn't speak. Literally couldn't make words come out. Don't look so shocked, Evelyn said, sitting back down. Did you really think I didn't know what was happening in my own company? I've been watching, Ms. Morrison. The difference between you and Vivian is that she played politics with her peers. You just played them with me, and you won. She slid the folder back across the desk. Destroy these. All of them. If Vivian wants to claim discrimination, I never saw them. We're promoting you because you've demonstrated exceptional leadership during a critical period. Period. Understood? Understood. Good. Now get out. I have a call with Tokyo in 3 minutes. And Ms. Morrison? Don't make me regret this. I made it to the elevator before my legs started shaking. Made it to my car before I started crying. Not sad tears. Not happy tears. Just tears. Like my body needed to release 8 months of holding it all together. My phone buzzed. Vivian. Another photo. The baby in a onesie that said future CEO. Missing my work family. Can't wait to see everyone Monday. Hope you're preparing a warm welcome back. I stared at that text for a long time. Thought about responding. Thought about warning her. Thought about all the times she could have warned. Me instead. I deleted the thread. All of it. Every promise. Every lie. Every heart emoji. Then I drove home and slept for 16 hours straight. Monday came fast. I was in the office at 6 a.m., cleaning out Vivian's things, packing up her awards. Her photos. Her motivational quotes. The one that made me pause was framed on her desk. Empowered women empower women. I left that one for her to pack herself. At 9 a.m., Diane's email went out. All staff organizational announcement effective immediately. Rel Morrison is promoted to Director of Financial Services. Please join me in congratulating her on this well-deserved recognition. My phone exploded. Texts, calls, Slack messages. The team was confused but happy. Marcus was carefully neutral. Unexpected but earned, he wrote. Let's sync on transition. Planning. Vivian called 17 times. I didn't answer. She texted, What is happening? Evelyn says there's been a restructure. Call me now. Then, Rochelle, I don't understand. This must be a mistake. You were supposed to be my successor next year. This is premature. I'm calling Marcus. Then, they're offering me strategic planning. Strategic planning? No team, no direct reports? This is insane. Finally, I see. I hope you're happy. I hope you remember who gave you your start, who believed in you when no one else did. I did remember. That was the problem. The team meeting. That afternoon was surreal. Everyone congratulating me, asking about Vivian, wondering what happened. I kept it simple. Vivian's taking on a new challenge in strategic planning. I'm excited to build on the foundation we've created together. Professional, smooth, exactly how she would have handled it. But I couldn't resist one thing. When Eric asked about the external hire, weren't we bringing in someone senior? Smiled. Actually, I've been reviewing resumes. Saw Jenny Patel was interested. Great candidate. But I think we need someone hungrier. Someone who's been overlooked. Someone ready to prove themselves. I hired Talia back. 20% raise. And a clear path to senior management. She started the same day Vivian came back from leave. The handoff was brutal. Vivian showed up in a new suit. Designer diaper bag over her shoulder like armor. She walked into what used to be her office, my office now, and stopped cold. You redecorated. I'd replaced her motivational quotes with my family photos, my degrees, my awards, the ones I'd earned while she was taking credit. Felt like time for a change, I said. How's the baby? She set her jaw. Professionalism above all. We went through the transition checklist like robots, passwords, client contacts, pending contracts. She knew. And I knew. And we both knew the other knew, but neither of us said it. Until the end, as she was leaving, she turned in the doorway. You know what the sad part is? She said quiet enough that no one else could hear. I actually was going to promote you eventually, when you were ready. You just couldn't wait. I looked at her. Really looked at her. This woman I'd idolized. This woman who'd taught me everything, including how to destroy her. Vivian, I said, I waited. 8 months. I waited while you promised and lied and documented reasons to hold me back. I waited while you interviewed my replacement from your maternity leave. I'm done waiting. She left. Didn't slam the door. Didn't make a scene. Just walked out, designer bag bouncing against her hip. I found out later she didn't take the strategic planning role. Posted some LinkedIn announcement about taking time to focus on family and explore new opportunities. The comments were full of support. Your next chapter will be amazing. Their loss. Can't keep a good woman down. I liked every single comment. Professional courtesy. That was 2 years ago. The department's thriving. We're up to $6 million in quarterly revenue. Talia's running her own team now. 3 of my adequate individual contributors have been promoted. Marcus calls me his secret weapon and pretends he discovered me. Vivian started her own consulting firm, Strategic Leadership for Women in Business. I see her posts sometimes, talking about empowerment and lifting as we climb. She has a podcast now. Never mentions me. But episode 23 was about navigating betrayal in the workplace. I didn't listen. But the reviews say it's very inspiring. We ran into each other last month at a conference. Both of us on panels, of course. Women in leadership, breaking barriers together. She was on the morning panel. I was keynoting lunch. She found me at the coffee station, baby on her hip. Little autonomous. Sorry, her actual daughter is beautiful, looks just like her mom. Maya. Just my name, neutral, professional. Vivian. She's gorgeous. Thanks. Congratulations on the promotion, by the way. VP suits you? Yeah, I made VP last quarter. Evelyn fast-tracked. Me. Turns out when you deliver 4 consecutive quarters of growth, people notice. Even adequate individual contributors. Thanks, I said. Your firm seems to be doing well. It is. Working for yourself has advantages. Making your own rules. Choosing your own clients. She paused. Being clear about who you can trust. There it was. The dig. The blade. Subtle as always. I could have taken the bait, could have reminded her about trust, about mentorship, about heart emojis from hospital beds. Instead, I did something she'd never expect. I smiled. A real smile. It does. Hey, I should mention, I've been recommending your firm to companies looking for leadership development. You do good work, Vivian. Despite everything. She blinked. Shifted the baby to her other hip, despite everything. We both got what we wanted, didn't we? You're building something of your own. I'm running the department you built. Maybe it had to happen this way. She looked at me for a long moment. You've changed. You taught me well. Maybe too well. The baby started fussing. Vivian bounced her automatically. That new mom sway I recognized from my sister. Take care, Rella, she said finally. You too. She walked away, designer shoes clicking on the convention center floor. I watched. Her go and felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, no victory. Just tired. Because here's the thing I learned. The thing nobody tells you about revenge. It doesn't fix anything. It doesn't make the betrayal hurt less. It doesn't give you back the innocence you lost. It just makes you more like them. I'm good at the game now. I play it every day. I document everything. I build alliances. I identify threats. I manage out the people who could challenge me. But sometimes, late at night in my corner office, I miss the person I was before, the one who believed in mentorship, who stayed late because she cared, not because she was building a paper trail, who trusted someone when they said, "I've got your back." My phone buzzes. Text from my new direct report. Ambitious kid. Fresh from Wharton. Thanks for the opportunity, Maya. Can't wait to learn from you. You're such an inspiration. I stare at it. At the earnestness. The exclamation points. The trust. Happy to have you on the team, I type back. Things ahead. And I mean, it. Mostly. But I also save the text. Document everything, like Vivian taught me. Okay, that's my story. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. I know it's not pretty. I know I don't come out looking like a hero. But maybe that's the point. Maybe there are no heroes in stories like this. Just people doing what they have to do to survive. Let me know in the comments if you've been there. If you've had to become someone you didn't want to be just to get what you deserved. And hey, subscribe if you want. I've got more stories. Probably too many stories, but for now, I need to go. I have a team meeting in 10 minutes and I need to decide whether to promote Iris or bring in someone external. I already know what Vivian would do. I'm still figuring out what I'll do. Thanks for listening. Really, it helps to say it out loud, to admit that winning sometimes feels exactly like losing. Take care of yourselves out there and document everything. Trust me on that one.